Hello to all, I am Dr. Alkesh Agarwal, and in this lecture, I'll mainly discuss about the classification of MOSFET, their symbols and characteristics, and then I'll discuss the design and working of NOT gate, NAND gate, and NOR gate through N-type MOSFET, P-type MOSFET, and complementary MOSFET. Here are some reference books that include Digital Design by M. Morris Mano and M. D. Sileti and Modern Digital Electronics by R.P. Jain. So this MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Can be classified as N-type MOSFET, P-type MOSFET, and C-type MOSFET, that is complementary MOSFET. So N stands for N channel. Here P stands again for P channel, and this complementary means it has N channel as well as P channel MOSFET, that is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. So that is NMOS is a MOSFET that consists of only N channel, N type channel transistors. In PMOS, it consists of P channel transistors, whereas CMOS consists of N channel as well as P channel transistors. So again, we have further classification is the MOSFET can be depletion type or enhancement type. So here is the slide shows the differentiation between a MOSFET and a BJT in terms of the terminals, the the current that flows through the device. So if we compare in terms of terminals, so in a MOSFET we have drain, gate, and source. Corresponding to the terminals that are present in BJT are collector, base, and emitter. So analogous to drain, we have analogous to collector, we have drain. Analogous to base, we have gate, and analogous to emitter, we have source. So the current that flows through MOSFET is ID, which is given by Shockley equation, which is equal to IDSS 1 minus VGS upon VP whole square, where this IDSS is drain to source current when the gate is short circuited, VGS is gate to source voltage, and VB is the pinch off voltage, where here the collector current is given by beta times IB, where beta is amplification factor. So this is the basic difference between MOSFET and a BJT in terms of the configuration. So now we'll briefly discuss about the symbols. So that are very important when we discuss the implementation of different gates by NMOS, PMOS, and CMOS. So here you can see we have N channel depletion MOSFET. The first of all, we have to differentiate between the depletion MOSFET and enhancement MOSFET. Here you can see the symbols of the two. Here you can see we have one layer, a gap, and the second layer, this gap is this. So we have a metallization for gate. Then here we have the drain region, the source region, and here we have a continuous line which shows that there is an inbuilt channel. So this is the N channel. So we have N types of the drain region and N type of source region, and we have N channel in between, and it's a continuous. So that is the channel is inbuilt. So we have a continuous line, whereas in enhancement MOSFET we have a broken line which shows that initially there is no channel, but when we gave a suitable voltage to the gate, so there is building up of the channel. So that is why we have this name enhancement MOSFET. The channel is being enhanced. Here the channel is being depleted, which is already present inside the device. Here in this N channel depletion MOSFET, we have this arrow outward. So that which can be understand by this direction of the flow of current. So this is the N channel. So suitable voltage is of positive polarity to the gate. So if we assume a positive polarity voltage to the D and a negative polarity voltage to the source, so the direction of flow of current will be from positive, and it will be in this direction towards negative. So that is why arrow is outward. Whereas in P channel depletion MOSFET, we have the arrow is inward, because here the suitable voltage will be negative polarity voltage. Since the channel is of P type, if we assume that drain is given a negative polarity voltage and source is given a positive polarity voltage, so the direction of flow of current will be like this. So it will be inward and then towards this. So we have inward arrow. So these are the symbols for N channel depletion MOSFET, N channel P channel depletion MOSFET. Then we have a symbol for N channel enhancement MOSFET here. So we have a broken line which shows enhancement type of MOSFET, and here we have another connection. So here in this we have this outward current. So if we assume here an outward current direction, so it will, part of the current will go down, part of the current will go up. So we have inward, it is shown by inward arrow. So in N channel depletion MOSFET we have an outward arrow, but for N channel enhancement MOSFET we have an inward arrow. Similarly in P channel depletion MOSFET we have inward arrow, whereas in P channel enhancement MOSFET we have an outward arrow. So these are some the basic symbols of MOSFETs in N channel depletion, P channel depletion MOSFET, and N channel enhancement and P channel enhancement MOSFET. So you should remember these symbols. Here are some characteristics, because we know that in enhancement MOSFET, as I have told you, the channel is not inbuilt, and when we get a suitable voltage at the gate, the channel is being came into existence. So there is a flow of the drain current. So it is a threshold voltage, as this the gate to source voltage that of positive polarity will be increased beyond this threshold voltage. So the drain current will also be increased in N channel enhancement MOSFET, because we have N channel enhancement MOSFET. So the gate to source voltage will be of positive polarity, that too greater than threshold voltage. But if we have a P channel enhancement MOSFET, so the gate to source voltage will be of negative polarity, that too greater than threshold voltage. So through these characteristics we can understand the functioning of a N channel and P channel enhancement MOSFET. Whereas these are the characteristics of, in figure 9, figure 10 we have the characteristics of N channel depletion MOSFET. So that can work both in depletion mode as well as enhancement mode. That depends upon the kind of voltage that is given to gate to source. So since this is an N channel MOSFET, so if a positive polarity voltage is given, the channel will be enhanced. But when the negative polarity gate to source voltage is given, being an N channel MOSFET, so the channel will get depleted. The same case is that of P channel depletion MOSFET. So since it is a P channel MOSFET, so if a negative voltage is being given to the gate with respect to source, so the channel will be enhanced, but a positive polarity voltage is given, though it gets depleted. So these are the characteristics of for N channel P channel enhancement MOSFET and N channel P channel depletion MOSFET. So they again will be helpful in understanding the working of the implementation of gates. So let us discuss the inverter gate that is designed through N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFET. Here you can see in figure in 11 we have N channel MOSFET. So we have two transistors. So the upper transistor you can see it is upper transistor and lower transistor. Here we have a drain, a gate, and a source. Again, in lower transistor we have a gate, a drain, and a source. So both are connected in cascaded form. Okay, a positive supply is given plus VDD because it's a N channel MOSFET. So a suitable polarity voltage at the gate will be positive. Here you can see the supply is connected or shorted to the gate on in the upper transistor, because this transistor is acting as a load. It will always remain in an on state because it will always be given a positive polarity voltage at the gate. So this upper transistor is acting as a load. If we see the lower gate, here we will give input voltage. So if input voltage is greater than is plus is 0, first case is 0. So when 0 voltage is given, so this lower N channel MOSFET will go into cutoff mode, and since this gate is always be on, so this output will be pulled up by the supply, so we get a high output. In second case, when we give a high logic inputs, that is plus VDD, so in this case this gate will also be in on state and output will be pulled down to ground, so we get a low logic output. So we can see that this is acting as an inverter gate. The same functioning is that of a P channel MOSFET. The difference is that here we give a negative polarity voltage to the gate here, because this is a P channel MOSFET, so a suitable polarity voltage will be negative. So this will gate will always be on because it is connected to minus VDD. Again here Vi, when Vi is 0, this gate will go into cutoff mode, and this since this gate is on, being it is always connected to minus VDD, so this output will be pulled up by the supply, so get minus VDD. When we give minus VDD at this input, that is high logic input, this gate will be on and output will be pulled down to ground, so we get the low logic output. So here you can see the implementation of inverter gate through NMOS and PMOS. Now I'll see the implementation of a NAND gate through NMOS and PMOS. So here what you can see, in NAND gate we have another transistor cascaded to, if we see this structure, so in this structure we have connected another transistor with this. So here you can see, so we have this a load, this transistor acting as a load, always connected to plus VDD. So this is we have one transistor and again connected to the second transistor. So these are connected, all the three are in cascaded form. Output is connected to input and output is connected to input. So we have two inputs, V and VB. So what happens for proper functioning? Both the transistors must be on at the same time because they are in cascaded form. So we see when both inputs are low, then V is low, VB is low. Both the transistors, this transistor and this transistor, will be in cutoff mode, and since they will be in cutoff mode, so they do not have any effect on the output, and since this is always remains in on state, so output is pulled up to supply, so we get high logic. In second and third row, what we can see, if any one of the transistor is at low logic, so if V is low logic, this transistor will go into cutoff mode. If VB is in low logic, this transistor will go into cutoff mode. And both the cases, and if both are in low logic, again both are in cutoff mode. So if any one of the input is at low logic, so this whole configuration as a cascaded form will be cut off from the output. So that shows the second row and third row. If V is low or VB is low, in both the cases, both the configuration, both the transistors will be cut off from the output, and output is pulled up by the supply by this load. So we get high logic output as output plus VDD and minus plus VDD. In one case, when both inputs are high or given high logic, that V is given a high logic and VB is given a high logic, that is plus VDD plus VD. So in that case, both the transistor will be in on state, and since they are in cascaded form, so output will be pulled down to ground, so we get a low logic output. The same functioning is that of a PMOS NAND gate. The difference again is that we are giving a negative polarity voltage, so we have minus VDD, so plus VDD is replaced by minus VDD. Rest everything is same. So again, if any one of the input, either VA or VB, is at low logic, so both transistors as a whole, as a single configuration, will be cut off from the output, and output is pulled up by the supply. But when VA and VB both are given the high logic in terms of minus VDD and minus VDD, so the both transistor will go in on state, and the output is pulled down to ground. So we get this high logic, low logic. So when we are giving VS minus VDD, VB minus VDD, so we get a low logic, because in that case both transistor will be on and output is pulled down to ground. So this is how we design NAND gate through NMOS and PMOS. Now we'll see the design of a NOR gate through NMOS and PMOS. So what you can see over here is, in the previous, both these transistors are in cascaded form, but the difference is that here both these transistors are in parallel form, connected parallelly and grounded. So this is a load, this is acting as a load, but here V and VB are parallel. So this transistor and this transistor is in parallel state. So the difference is that if any one of the transistor is in on state, either this transistor with input VA or this transistor with input VB, the output will be pulled down to ground. In only one case, the output will be pulled up by the supply, when VA and VB both are given a low logic input. So that can be seen verified through this table. So here we can see, when VA is 0 and VB is 0, that is when VA is given a low logic and VB is given a low logic, in that case both transistor will go into cutoff mode, and in that state the output is pulled up by the supply. So we get output is VDD. In rest all the three conditions, if VB is given a high logic or VA is given a high logic, so when VA is given a high logic, this transistor will be on and output is pulled down to ground. If VB is given a high logic, again this transistor will be on and output is pulled down to ground. And when both transistors are given a high logic, that is plus VDD and plus VDD, both transistor will be on and output is pulled down to ground. So in all the three cases we get a output low logic. The same functioning is that of a NOR gate through PMOS. The difference again is that we are giving a negative polarity voltage minus VDD. So in that case also we can see the transistors with input VA and input VB are connected parallelly. This upper transistor is always on because gate is always connected to the suitable polarity voltage. So in this case also, if VA is given low logic, or when both VA and VB given a low logic, then both transistors will be in cutoff mode and output is pulled up to supply. So we get minus VDD. In all the three cases, when VA is given a high logic or VB is given a high logic, or both are given a high logic, so when V is given a high logic, this transistor will be on and output is pulled down to ground. If VB is given a high logic, this output will be on and output is pulled down to ground. So we get a low logic output. If both inputs are given a high logic, both transistor will be on and again we get a low logic output. So we have the same kind of functioning. Now we'll discuss the CMOS inverter. So here we have why it is called a CMOS inverter, because it is complementary. The transistors are complementary. Here we have transistor Q1 and transistor Q2. So this is, you can see, because they are being designed through enhancement kind of MOSFET. So this is P channel and this is N channel. Lower one is of transistor Q1 is N channel and transistor Q2 is of P channel. First we'll discuss how it is functioning as an inverter. So when Vi is given a positive polarity voltage, because first you have to remember these are the characteristic of N channel MOSFET, where the gate to source voltage must be positive, greater than threshold voltage. And for P channel enhancement MOSFET, the gate to source voltage should be negative, greater than the minus VT. So when Vi is given plus 5 volt, greater than threshold voltage, you can refer to figure number 18. So in that case, transistor Q1 will be on and transistor Q2 will be off. So when transistor Q1 will be on, output will be pulled down to ground, we get a low logic output. But in second case, when Vi is given a 0 volt, so we are giving a 0 volt. So this transistor Q1 will be in off mode, so that is for sure. But let us see what happens for the transistor Q2. So what we are giving at this point is, at this point the voltage at GP2 is 0, whereas the voltage at SP2 is positive, greater than threshold volt, that is plus 5 volt if we assume. So the potential drop at VG2 with respect to VS2 is, what is this, 0 minus minus 0 minus 5 is minus 5 volt. Here you can see the voltage VSP2 is plus 5 volt if you are giving, and voltage at GP2 is 0 volt. So the voltage at this point with respect to this point becomes minus 5. So we assume this voltage is sufficient enough or greater than minus V threshold. So this transistor will be on, and the output will be pulled up to the supply, and we get a high logic output. So we can see this whole configuration is acting as a inverter gate, which consists of N channel enhancement MOSFET and P channel enhancement MOSFET. Second thing you have to remember is, uh, here the drain is connected to the drain. So the drain of P channel is connected to the drain of N channel. Okay, and here the gate is connected to the gate, and the source of transistor Q1 is grounded, and the source of transistor Q2 is connected to the supply. So this is the connection of a CMOS inverter. Now let us see how a CMOS NAND gate is being designed and how it works. So here we have one CMOS inverter, you can see. So we have a transistor Q1, which is N channel MOSFET. We have transistor Q2 as P channel MOSFET. Here you can see the gate is connected to the gate. The gate of transistor 1 is connected to the gate of transistor 2. The drain of transistor 2 is connected to the drain of transistor 1. And here what you have to remember is, for the second CMOS configuration, the N channel transistor is connected in cascaded form to the N channel transistor of the second CMOS inverter. So here you can see this this is transistor Q1 is connected to transistor Q3, and both are of N channel MOSFET, whereas so they are connected in cascaded form, whereas the P channel transistors, the P channel transistor of second CMOS inverter is connected parallel to the first P channel transistor of the first CMOS configuration. So this is the connection seems to be somewhat complicated. It is, but it is not so. So again, you see what we are doing over here is, we have this one CMOS inverter configuration, and here from this point to this point we have another CMOS inverter. So what we have done for this, in the second CMOS inverter, the second N channel, the N channel transistor is connected to the N channel in a cascaded form, and here this is the output, and this P channel MOSFET is connected parallelly to the P channel MOSFET, and these are two of the connected parallelly. So this is how CMOS NAND gate is being designed. So this is output. We have one input to the first CMOS inverter as VA, and we have another input VB for to the second CMOS inverter. So this transistor Q1 and Q2 forms the one CMOS inverter, and transistor Q3 and transistor Q4 makes the second CMOS inverter, and connected as shown. So see what happens when VA is given a high input, that is greater than threshold voltage, and VB is also given a high input, a high logic input greater than V threshold. So in that case, this transistor Q1 will be on and transistor Q3 will be on, but transistor Q2 and transistor Q4 will go into cutoff mode. So when transistor Q1 is on and Q3 is on, so you can see this output is pulled down to ground, because transistor Q1 and Q3 are connected in cascaded form. When both transistor will be on, a path L will be completed, and V output is pulled down to ground. Okay, so here you can see again the output V0 will be pulled down to ground when both transistor Q1 and Q3 are on. Okay, that is VA and VB are given a high logic input. Rest in all the three cases, we get a high logic output. How? When VA is at low logic, when VA is at low logic, this transistor Q1 will go into cutoff mode, and since Q1 and Q3 are cascaded, so they will be the both these transistors will be cut off from the output. Similarly, when VB is given a low logic, Q3 will go into cutoff mode, and again, since they both are connected in cascaded form, so as a single unit, they again be cut off from the output. Or when both are given a low logic, in both the cases, again Q1 and Q3 will be cut off from the output. So in all the three cases, when VA is low or VB is low or both are low, the output will be pulled up by the supply, because in that case transistor Q1 or Q4 or both will be in on state, and V output will be pulled up by the supply. So this is how a CMOS NAND gate works. So here it is written again. The output V0 will be pulled up to supply when any one or both transistor Q2 and transistor Q4 are on. So this is on means VA is low, and this is on means VB is given low, and both will be on means VA and VB are given low logic. So in all the three cases, if these two transistors are on, output will be pulled up by the supply, and output will be at high logic. Now we'll see how the CMOS NOR gate is being implemented through CMOS. So here the configuration is reversed. What you can see over here is these N channel transistors now are connected in parallel, and the P channel transistors are being cascaded. So here we have one CMOS configuration, and in that CMOS configuration, the second, the CMOS configuration is so connected that the N channel transistor is connected parallelly, as shown, and the P channel transistor is connected in cascaded form. So now we can see when V is given a high logic, okay, and written OR and AND. So if V is given a high logic, that means transistor Q1 will be on, and VB is given a low logic, so transistor Q3 will be in cutoff mode. So since transistor Q1 is on, so output is pulled down to ground. So we get a low logic. If the condition is reversed, VB is given a high logic and V is given a low logic. So in that case, transistor Q3 will be on and Q1 will be off. So in that case also, output is pulled down to ground. If both are given a high logic, that at V and VB, so both these transistors will be on, and V output is pulled down to ground. In one configuration, when VB is given a low logic and V is given a low logic, in that case both these transistors will be in cutoff mode, and this transistor will be on, this transistor will be on, and output is pulled up by the supply, because these two transistors are now connected in cascaded form. So for output to be pulled up by the supply, these both transistors are to be in on state, and this is only possible in one configuration, when VB is given a low logic and V is given a low logic. So in that case, when V is given a low logic and V is given a low logic and VB is given a low logic, these both transistors Q1 and Q3 will go in cutoff mode. Transistor Q2 and Q4 will be in on state, and output is pulled up by the supply. So we can see the CMOS NOR gate is how it is designed and how it works. So you can also read this table in order to uh, understand what I have told. So here it is written: the output V0 is pulled up to ground when any one of the transistor, both the transistor Q1 and Q3 are on. So if any one of the transistor is on, output is pulled down to ground, and the output is V0 pulled up to supply on only one case, when both transistors Q2 and Q4 are on. Okay, so that is V and VB, both are at low logic. Thank you.